Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the very first of Let's Talk About It. So, as I'm speaking, I'm letting all the people come in. I'll just ask you guys to mute yourself as you come in so that we can to the audience. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. This is our very first one, the premiere. Let's kick it off very strongly with the subject of today, which is 40 still single. Let's talk about it, guys. So the idea is to have a panel with different kind of people from different backgrounds, different stories, different life experiences, so that we have different angles of the same subject. So what I was going to say is that get ready for your words to be moved, change. Get ready to revise some of your thinking because the idea here is to challenge your perspective. As I introduce each and every one of the panel, let me start with my, I would say my partner, my the tag team or team tag, however you guys say it. Nadi, introduce yourself. You are on mute.
Tag team is a thing. Tag team. I was about to say catch myself playing partner in crime, and I was like, no, wait, we ain't on that level. I remember our session, Dominique. The words matter. But yes, this is my partner, my tag team tag. Carlita, we here do his chosen sheep because we are looking to build and grow our community, and so I'm happy to be a part of this project. I'm really excited about this because I'm like, give people a chance to talk about the real deal issues that people normally don't ever talk about out in the open. So in any case, because I can go on and on, my name is Nally, it rhymes with Sally. I'm from Boston, Beantown represents for all of us on the East Coast. But in any case, I am a big fan of just thought-provoking discussions. I am a big fan about learning from each other through debate, through conversation. And I just think that this is a great opportunity for us to bond and grow together. So in any case, I've been in Boston all my life. I'm going around the world, meeting new people to do things just like this with other folks. So I'm happy to have each and every one of you here. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm gonna stop there because I'm a talker and I'll keep going.
Awesome. Thank you, Nali. So let's introduce our next guest, Wilfred. Let us know where you are joining us from, your background, introduce yourself. Come on, let's go.
Come on, Wilfred.
Yes, me now. I'm Wilfred. I'm from France. I'm living in UK, London. It's been a while now. I've been in London right now. I'm working I'm a financial business analyst on the Bank of the City, and I'm also auto entrepreneur on e-commerce and on the trading on the stock market. And I would say I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of this team because I met Carlita on different YouTube channel. We talk about the business, entrepreneur, and everything else, and family or things like that. And she asked me to join the team to share our knowledge and our life and what we think about different subjects. And I say yes because I was happy to discuss with the different people I like because I know the life jog and now I know everybody here on this panel, which is I'm very happy to share with you. And I'm also very happy to learn more about life because we are talking about life, a different subject. Now we are talking about a 40 years old and still single. This is, I would say, for my introduction for this subject, I would say, I wouldn't say this is a habit. It's not a habit, but we have two kind of single on this different kind of the different part of life. There is a single part. You can choose to be a single of 40 years old because you focus on your career or something else. It's not your priority. And you can be you can be single like a circumstance of life, which is sometimes happening for different people. And actually, around the world, I would say I'm not talking about the statistic, but around the world, I would say many people between men and women, many women are single are 40 years old, or maybe before and after 40 years old, which is the statistic for different countries around the world. I would say in UK or France or USA or Canada, there is many more women are single than men, which is a problem because this is something we're going to try to discuss about it. We're going to try to share our knowledge about it. Our talk. We're going to try to discuss about it. We're not going to fix it, but we have to talk about it. We have to share everything we know about it because I don't know. I think I'm married. I go child. I'm married. And I'm happy to be married. I've been single for on my previous life, which is sometimes it wasn't a choice, but it was the circumstance of life. But now I'm married. I'm happy to be married, and also, I would like to share my knowledge and my thought about this, to be single at this age. That's my introduction.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Wilfred. So this idea, I would say Nadia and I had the idea, and then we had what we call our chosen moment. We've done this. Donovan child right here joining us from LA. And we were like, oh my God, your energy, you are so vibrant. I mean, it was a whole energy, it was a whole session. And we're like, let's hook up, let's see what we can do together. So this idea and even the whole graphic idea, he has been very involved in this project. So he's almost like the third partner with Nali on this project. Donovan, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a yes on this project and the next one coming up. And let me let you introduce yourself and give us like a brief synopsis of what your idea or your thought is about 40 or being single and what your thought is about the subject of the day.
All right. What is up, everybody? My name is Don Dees, also known as Donovan Child. It's my actual real government name, you know. So in case you got to find me for real, that's how you can do it. I'm a pastor in Los Angeles, and I am doing social media ministry. So this is like what I love doing. So glad to see you. Glad to meet everybody out there. For today's topic, I think it can go one of two ways. If you're 40 and single, you either gonna love it or you gonna hate it. I think there's not really an in-between. Of course there is, but I think deep down in the core, either you're gonna love it and you're gonna find the benefits of it, or you're going to really, it's gonna be a source of anxiety for you. So I'm really interested in the conversation to see how we actually work this out. And I'm interested to see in the comments, like how you guys do it. Because the whole thing is, this is live and interactive. So we want to make sure that we're getting in the mix with everybody in the comments as well. As be in the comments, be in the conversation. And I'm looking forward to the discourse for today.
Awesome. Yeah, great thing that you brought it on. Like whoever's in the comment might be able to join us on the panel at some point. So we are looking forward to having you on board for this conversation. In the meantime, let me introduce our one and only Just Dominique.
Just Dominique.
Hello, everybody. I'm super excited. I love this topic. My name is Dominique, and I am super excited to be with all of you guys. I love this conversation. I love this topic because I am in my 40s and single. Life circumstance has caused that. I'm a divorcee, and I agree with Don a little bit. I think you can hate it and love it, but I think the caveat to it is your perspective and then your understanding. And for me, my faith is my driving force. So I'm at the place now is if I am in the center of God's will, and that is to be single, and it doesn't make sense to anyone, I'm okay with that. Right? So for me, it doesn't drive me crazy. I know everything that I offer. I know everything I bring to the table, and I'm willing to wait for the one that works because I've done it before and it didn't work. So that's, but I can't wait to dig in and hear everybody's perspective. So
Awesome, awesome. Our next and one and only Spicy. You already know who you are. The Spicy, the life journey of growth, my friend Lee.
I already got the reputation of the spicy. Well, I guess I'm gonna come with the spice this evening. I hope you guys are doing well. You guys hear me? I'm driving. I hope I don't have echoes and everything. Everything's good? Great. All right, great. My name is Louis. My wife, Ladula Rachel, is in the comments. We are the Life Jog, and basically the Life Jog is the life journey of growth, where we grow to better ourselves, to become better versions of ourselves, so that we can be assets and resources to the next generation. I had to do that this time because the last time I didn't do it. Now, the conversation is around being 40 and being single. I just want to make a disclaimer. I'm not 40 yet, but I plan to retire at the age of 40. So I still got a few years to make it. But I'm married and father of 3 daughters. And it's a very good conversation because we can see that life can happen. And that's the reality. And you can find yourself in your 30s, everything is going well, make it to your 40s, and then people start parting ways. And like Wilfred said in the beginning, he said you can either be 40 and then just like you can find yourself being single at the age of 40 because you're going after your career and then you don't have time for relationships, or you can be 40 by life circumstance. And I believe that, it's up to the person, right? Most of the time it's not, like I would say for the person that is in a circumstantial situation, it's kind of like most of the time out of your control. But for the person that is chasing the career or chasing, let's say, going after the career, I think that it's something that maybe could have been avoided if they're focused on their relationship. So at the end of the day, I feel like this is going to be a great conversation because we have different perspectives, different avenues. And then as the time goes, I'm probably going to reveal myself as Mr. Spicy because I'm going to bring some perspective and some angle to the conversation that I hope is going to make it like fiery. I'm here to listen and just exchange with you guys, and I'm very happy and blessed to be with you.
Awesome, awesome. I think we have other members who will join us as we move forward in the conversation. We had Willie on, but I think his internet is going in and out. So as soon as he comes back, I'm going to introduce him. But let's get started, guys. Okay, so again, this conversation are to be challenging. So we're going to tackle the issue from different angles, as you all have understood. So don't, please, in the comment, I see you guys are really shy right now. So I'm expecting you guys to be a little bit more reactive and interactive with us because
this comments. Okay, that's what this is about.
Okay. Nali's already on. So Nali, let's start with you as you already came forth from the conversation.
All right.
What is your take on this subject and this conversation?
I'm going to give my little disclaimer, like Louis.
Willie is back with us.
Is Willie back? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's let Willie get a chance to say his.
Hi, Willie. The issue is.
That's all right, Willie. We can hear you very well. How about you introduce yourself? You let us know who you are, and you give us like your take on the subject for today, like a quick intro before we go a little bit, we dig a little bit deeper in there.
Okay. Well, my name is Willie Smith. I am a resident in McKinney, Texas. It's a Dallas, Fort Worth. So I'm originally from the west town called Gary, Indiana. Most people know of Gary, Indiana through Michael Jackson. Remember a song that was out years ago, 2300 Jackson Street? That's what they're referring to, Gary, Indiana. My background is in finance. With one of the major financial companies in the country. I've been in corporate finance for over 15 years and just helping individuals with wealth management strategy from very humble beginnings. So I just have a passion for helping underserved markets and underserved groups, particularly African American, people of color, pretty much anyone that doesn't have a background and doesn't understand the stock market. You know, I love to help. I love to help everybody, but I love to particularly help those that that this is more like a second language to them. Just like to make things simple. In terms of today's topic, uh, it's something that I relate to more indirectly than directly because I'm married. So, but I do have many family members, many clients, people that are going through different transitions, whether they're getting married, whether they're divorced, whether they're facing some major life event that causes us to sit down and have a conversation. And many times it's them having support for them, you know, and it's a matter of self-care and support where they feel like someone has their back, has their best interest at heart, and can help them devise a plan going forward. I did a snapshot of my business about a year ago just to see who's my number one client. And I was surprised to see that I have actually more divorced women as clients than anyone else. Like, where are the assets coming from and where, who are the top holders? And it's actually top females in corporate positions. And so many of them earn great money, but don't necessarily know what to do with it. It's not because they're not educated, or it's not because they're not smart. It's just that that has not been their focus, and they've always trusted their mate to handle that. So, you know, we help them kind of get their life back on track and navigate through the murky waters, particularly when there's been a separation. But we all, I mean, we do more than that, but that's how I can relate to it, is I generally come into play when someone is actually going through a major transition and they need help.
Wow, I think this is a great perspective to have as like somebody that is either single by choice or by fact, is the impact on finances, like how that impacts, you know, your taxes, your finance. And like really said, like being single after being married and you come out like as a divorcee, and now you have to face your finance yourself. And again, we had this conversation in French last week, and we were talking about how when it comes to being single, it's kind of very unfair to women versus male for different reasons, right? Whether we like it or not, whether you're a feminist or not, like just the biology aspect of it. Like women, you know, have a certain time frame. Now it's time, I would say, that we can go a little bit further to have children versus men who can have children at any age. So I think there are so many different angles that we can tackle on this subject. But let me start with this. Now that you were speaking, so let me start with you giving your take on the subject, and then we're going to dig in with some specific questions. Guys, feel free to jump in anytime so that I'm not the only one having the conversation with everybody. So if anybody has anything to add at any point, this is the whole, you know, the whole purpose of it. So let's do it. Let's go, guys.
Awesome. Well, I have to say, I definitely appreciate Willie's perspective on it, even as a married person, and the fact that in your, you know, profession, how, you know, you view single people that are coming up at a particular age. So I thought that was very interesting. I think for me in this topic, like I have to agree with Louis. I'm not on the 40 train yet. I'm soon there, but I am not. But I think this topic is something that even in your 30s, especially like culturally.
Hold on. You're talking like you're far away from it.
Oh no. I said I'm soon there. I didn't say
you are a few months away from there.
I'm like, I'm not buying that bus ticket till I have to step on that bus. So if I'm not in the but I will be buying that bus ticket. That bus ticket is in about like 8 months, and when I get on that bus, then I'm gonna be a proud owner. But until I get on that bus, I ain't on the bus yet. I'm soon there. But what I was saying though, no, listen, we all in the same boat. I totally get you. I think though, but even so, it becomes a conversation that like, so what's even in a year or two, 35, 32, 30, culturally, people be like, well, why are you so single? Like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, it's something that you've done. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes for me, that's the perspective that it's like, maybe I would rather, better my life. Maybe there are things that I'm trying to do. Maybe that have certain goals. But I think society has this like thing on, if you are single in some way, it makes you lesser than. And I think that's the point that sometimes gets to me. And then I want to have like a big discussion on people like, well, what is it? Why is it that it seems that I'm not as, top notch as old girl who may be married and 4 kids? So what's the difference? I think for me, it's about perspective. It's about, and I think culturally how our perspectives are formed based on our upbringing. So I think, especially in the Cape Verdean culture, do not be single for imminent. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other island cultures are like that too, if not others. But if like you're single for a while, they be like, what's wrong? What's the deal? And it's like, there's nothing wrong. I'm choosing. I think Dominique, you may have mentioned this about choosing your career and choosing to advance yourself in other ways. At times there's a sacrifice, because someone made a good point. A relationship requires, I think it was Louis, it requires time and attention and like focus. And I mean, there may be superstars out there, and maybe I'm just not one of them yet, that can do all these things and give it 100% all the time. But then there's a balance where it's like you have to be able to like I think what Rachel has said, every case is different from what people want, but like you have to be able to have an understanding of like, what are my goals right now in this season?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, go ahead, Dominique.
I completely agree with Natalie. I'm saying, because I think when you look at the totality of it, I think that we have to normalize this idea that not everyone is going to be married, and it just is what it is, right? And we have to normalize the idea that it's okay. It cannot be the only definition of your life. You can be other things and successful and be single, right? And I think in the church community, you find more daggers thrown, because in the world, people have like partners and they have all these other stipulations. But with us, if we want to follow the Bible, we want to follow things. I'm a Christian. We want to follow the word, in order to do certain things, we have to be married. But it should not be a thing where there's something wrong with you if you're single. It may be the cards that you were dealt. And then you live a life that is just downtrodden because of the cards that you were dealt. It's like being born with a condition. It's not something that now it's twofold, because obviously there are sometimes things that you need to work on yourself. There's maybe some childhood traumas that are preventing you from being a good relationship partner, or there's some things that, that you're lacking and that you can go ahead and work on. I totally get that. But then there are some other things that maybe are not in your control, right? When I got divorced, I wasn't the one who wanted a divorce. My husband wanted a divorce. My husband was in love with someone else. And so was I going to just stay because of what people that I don't know, that I have no relationship with, that I could care less about think? No, absolutely not. And then now in my state right now, I still cannot live for people that I don't know, people that I don't care about, and people that have no stake in my game. I have to run the race that is set before me. Could I have been married 5 times over by now? Absolutely. But would they have been right? I don't think so. Right? So I'm actively dating. I had this vision God gave me. It was like I was in a waiting room, like in a hospital waiting room, and you're waiting for the doctor to come call you, right? And say you go in and you have like a trauma, a cut. Are you going to sit in the waiting room and just bleed out? Or are you going to tie it up, at least do some work in the waiting room while you wait to be called? So for me, I'm in the waiting room. I pursued my doctorate. I'm in the waiting room. I'm on my second home. I'm in the waiting room. I'm getting things done, right? Until my time comes, if it comes. But if it never comes, I'm going to get some stuff done. That's my take.
So let me ask you this question, Dominique.
Yes.
Like talking about that, like, and guys, please, I need your take on this. Like, is it harder for a man to approach a woman who knows what she wants and who actually is pursuing, her life and moving forward while she's waiting, or do you guys perceive that as a threat, or do you guys perceive that as, okay, she's working on her, let me support her? What are your takes on that, guys?
Depend. If I may, I can say something about it. It depends of the kind of woman you meet on your second life, because sometimes when you meet a woman as I would say the high level, it depends. It depends of it depends of the I would say it depends of the mindset of that woman. If that woman want to treat you, if you want to, if this woman want to get in relationship and want to treat you, how to love her, it's gonna be challenging for you to get into it. It's gonna be challenging because sometimes there are different people, there are men or women want to treat people or to treat their partner how to love them. That's a problem. You don't have to treat people. You don't have to treat people. You don't have to guide people how to treat you. You have to follow the love and follow your relationship and start growing together and build something together. Because as I say on the French panel last week, the relationship is like a team. It's not a context. You are not playing against someone else. You are playing. You guys are playing together. You are playing together to build something good. And at the end of this day, the winner is the love or your better life you are living all those cycles. That's things. And sometimes it's challenging because I would say I would say maybe the man on the panel will be agree with me. We men we love challenging sometimes. We love challenge sometimes because we always love challenge. We are challenging on our curses. We are challenging in our work. We are challenging in our life. We are challenging to raise a child. We are challenging to do everything in our single life. That's the things. And we also challenging to get better relationship. That's the thing. That's my take.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that. I think it's kind of interesting that there's sort of like this concept about men sort of like pursuing women and then getting them, sort of like this, like a possession kind of a thing. And I think that mindset is really kind of toxic when it comes to developing relationships, because like Will said, it's a partnership. The winner is not the man or the woman for getting the other person. The winner is the love in the relationship. And so if that's the driving force, then I think you're going to have a situation where you don't have people that are intimidated. When it comes to the fact of like when anybody feels like they have to try to prove themselves to be worthy of your attention, then that's when it's kind of like a difficult thing. But when you're doing your thing and someone else is doing their thing and you kind of naturally, organically match up together, then you're in a situation where, oh, okay, I think this is a good thing. I don't feel like this is work. I mean, I know every relationship has work, but I wouldn't want to get with somebody if my first thought is, "Ooh, this is a lot of work." That's
Yeah.
not my first thoughts that I want to have when I'm getting when my wife and I got married. We had spent time together, and it was like, man, we've been having so much fun together. Oh, we really like this. We really enjoy each other, and it was like a natural epiphany for us. Like, hey, I think we're ready to make that step to go ahead and be married, because we've done that. Now, once we got into that, of course, there was work, but trying to stay on the subject of the perception of being single in society. Yeah, I think it's kind of like there's these pressures that are working on you if you allow them to. So one of those for the woman is, yeah, I got to get this person because society, the biological clock, all the time ticking and all of that kind of stuff. But more like Dominique was saying, I'm going to do my work while I wait, and I'm going to let things happen, then I think you're going to naturally come into a space where you get more of that organic thing. You're not going to have this like intimidation or I surrender or yes, I finally got them. It's going to be
surrender.
Yeah. It's like, all right, fine. You just let me just leave it alone. No, like it's like a I don't know if anybody knew that show, Family Matters, back in the day, where this nerd dude, Steve Urkel, and he just kept his whole phrase was, "I'm wearing you down, baby. I'm wearing you down." So he was just like pursuing, but it wasn't this thing about love. It wasn't this thing about natural affection. So I think sometimes the pressure of society kind of forces us towards, all right, I got to settle or I got to do it. But yeah, what you have to do, just really like Dominique.
So what you're saying is build an organic friendship that leads into a union that is healthy. Isn't that harder though when you have been single for a long time and you are kind of set in your ways of doing things and everything?
That's a process right there. I mean, the fact of one thing that I've been single for almost really single for most of my 30s because I've chosen to do school, I've chosen to build a career, and you get so accustomed to doing things the way in which you do them that it's almost like you have to unlearn behaviors, and it is a process, and you have to be committed to that process because ultimately you get so accustomed to doing things in this like tunnel vision mentality. And that, ultimately when it comes to that season where you're like, oh, I need to start kind of taking the blinders off now and like focus on things, kind of getting myself prepared, I've realized that it is kind of difficult to unlearn things that you've been doing all the way. And then especially when you start having, like, it's one thing when it's family, but then when you have like other relationships that you build with, people that are getting closer to you, you're like, oh, okay, I never knew. That's why it's so good, your family or people that are around you, because people can give you that insight, like, hey, you do this. Or things that you've never picked up on because as a single person, you've always done this particular way, and it's like you haven't shifted perspective. So I think that definitely is part of the process.
Yeah. So really, I want to hear your take on if it's better to we were talking about like the pursue part of it, like is like don't this kind of like touch on it, but like are we still in a generation where we are waiting for the men to pursue, or is it okay for the women to bring like some signs? Or because I feel like when women bring signs, they appear out right away as being aggressive. Like how do you manage that? I want some wisdom. I want some wisdom on this. You are our patriot, so please give us some wisdom. We need some tips here.
Oh my goodness. So I would say it's probably a hybrid or like a D all of the above type answer. One, I think a person has to have expectations in any relationship that's based on reality and not just fantasy. One, and we can't just make generalizations and stereotypes about people, about men, about women, how we feel, how we think. TV is great for fantasy, but it's not really good for relationship advice or financial advice either. And it's good for entertainment, not education. So we have to put those things in perspective. And saying all that is just to say that how a man thinks or how a woman thinks, we can't just base that off of spending 20 minutes together or, again, watching a television show. It takes time to develop that. And I would say, I think if you study relationships and just understand how people interact, there's the yin and the yang. There's male, female, there's masculinity, femininity, and all kind of feeds off of each other. Again, I'm not a relationship expert, but I've had my share of counseling, share of talks, share of mistakes, and just learning from that. I think it goes both ways, and nothing is ever really permanent. Just because it's this way now or this way for 5 years or even 10 years doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. The person that you're in a relationship with 20 years, they're not the same person 20 years ago. You're not the same person. So all of that changes. So I almost sound like I'm giving a not so definitive answer, But the truth of the matter is that there's give and take, and those dynamics change over time. I would say, uh, from a male perspective, I have sisters, I have a mother, I have a wife, I have daughters, I have an assistant that works with me. I have several people around me that are opposite gender from me. And I can tell you this, don't help me if you're weak. You're not helping me if you don't have an opinion. You're not helping me if you're a doormat. You're not helping me if you have your own thoughts. You can't think for yourself if you can't do for yourself. So the idea that I want you to be spineless, the idea that you should be in the know, or that you have to be less than who you really are, I think it's just bogus. And again, and I don't think that's really seated in reality. I think that's some sick dark fantasy that we see played out, but it makes for good entertainment, but it doesn't make for a good living. And 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 I think we get to define what those roles really are. Who pursues who makes the most money, who gets to do. That's going to take its own shape, and that's going to evolve over time. You may start off where one person is doing something one way, and something could change. Life can happen. And another. I could be the breadwinner, and my wife could start a business, and she could turn around and make 3, 4 times more than what I make. So, and that creates a whole new dynamic. So, again, I wish I could give you a static answer and say this is how it's supposed to be, but the truth of the matter is things evolve over time.
Wow, yeah, we see that. Hi, Jaynaba. Thank you for joining us. I'll let you introduce
Hello,
yourself, tell us where you're joining us
everybody.
from, and tell us
Can you
what is your take on this. We can
okay?
hear
Can
you.
you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
cool. So my name is Jaynaba. So you might hear a special accent, I would say, as I'm living in Paris. So I was born and raised in Senegal, but I live now in Paris because I came here for my university degree, and I stayed afterwards. So I have this master degree in finance and economics, and now I'm working in finance as an asset and liability manager. I'm 39. I'm married, and I have 2 kids. A boy who turned 4, and a girl also, and she's gonna be 7 in a month. So that is we had a discussion in French, so I'm gonna maybe have this similar input here. So basically, and what I was telling in the first discussion was that for me, um, being single is very important as it allows you to grow. I've been in the same position at some point, and I was very happy to be on my own, just getting to know who I was and also getting to know what I really wanted. So, and I think it's kind of structure your target and also your aims in life. And basically, before being able to meet someone, you have to be able to know exactly who you are and whatever you want to do with your life. And I was also saying at the same time, and because I had a discussion with Carlita, the issue that you can have is that at some point, being single is so good and you enjoy it so much because you own yourself, you can do whatever you want in your life. You don't have to discuss with anybody to make up a decision. And therefore, it's, you kind of struggle into meeting someone else. Basically, and I was telling the same story to Carlita when I met my husband, for example. We had a date, we had a dinner, it was amazing, and I loved it. However, I was in panic because I was so well in my singleness, I would say, that I didn't want to be with someone and someone to break this balance that I had reached in my life. So, and I do remember having a very long letter that I wrote to my sister the following day after this day. And I was like, whoa, I'm so happy in my single life and I'm so balanced. All the things I've planned and I want to do with my girls and going out and traveling. So I'm not sure I want someone to get into my life and disturb all of that. So the issue that you might get into being single is just like being too happy to be single. And I don't feel, and being married now, I also feel that single is good, but the aim is also to live with someone, to build something, to have a future with someone, and to be able to grow together. So, And as long as the singleness will help you to define your whatever you're looking for and whatever you won't be jeopardizing, sorry, while being married, it also has to be, you also have to aim to find someone. So that's maybe my takeover. But I got into all these things that I've learned during my
So,
experiences.
Jaynaba, when do you think is the right, when do you think is the right balance
Sorry.
of like being like what do you think is a sign of like feeling like, okay, this is the time I'm done
So
enjoying my singleness, is now time for me to let somebody in? Is there like something that makes you like aware of that moment where you are ready to switch to a different step?
I think it's just like some different things. First of all, basically, you should not be stay on yourself too much. You just to keep dating, and dating is not like being with someone in a relationship. It's two different things for me. So dating is like you go for a dinner, you discuss with that person, and you try to learn who that person is really, and not really about like what really she wants and whatever she is aiming to and what she wants, what she's targeting in her life. So you get to know exactly what this person
So you
values
are
are
collecting
before
data.
getting into
They
a
like to say that
relationship.
during the dating period, you are collecting
Yes.
data,
So
basically.
basically, exactly. So you date someone and you just like figure out whether that person's values are matching yours. If the values, your core values, because you have to define, and during the time of singleness, you have to define what are your core values, because there are several values, but the core one that you know that you have to be like, I want to stick to that, those one is the most important thing for me. If that person you're dating doesn't match it and doesn't meet it, just like, and you move on. It's not like it was just dating. So you are just like, you have to go dinners, have drinks, but when, and I think the switch is when you find the person that really has those core values that are meeting yours, and you say like, okay, should I be now is the point where I should be leaving the dating phase into moving to the relationship. So single is something you can be single and date. So that's two different things for me. And you can be and then afterward you move to a relationship. But single and dating are fine for me. It's just two different things.
Interesting. Anyone has anything to add to that?
Yeah, if I can add one more thing regarding, I'm agree with Jaynaba what he say about being a single, be a single. It's important thing to have to, because it's a part of psycho life, as I say, basically. When you I would say there is two kind of single. You have to be single before is eventually you have to be single before you get married, and you can be single between two relationships, as I say. You have to take time between two relationships to get single, because you have to think about yourself, and you have to think about what was wrong, what are my responsibility on my previous relationship before you move forward. That's a key point. That's important. You have to think about it, because you have to know yourself what was wrong on my previous relationship, as I say, and then you can think about how I can move forward, how I can do better on when I'm gonna move forward. Regarding this is between two relationships, and before you get married, because eventually we all been student back in the day. You have you have to be single first, because when you get student and when we was young, we was dating, we was getting relationship, but it wasn't serious, but it was the relationship. We was young, right? And you have to be single at that time as well, because you have to know yourself. You have to know how people are going to treat you, even if a man or woman. You have to know exactly how people are going to treat you, how you're going to love people. But before you love someone, you have to love yourself first. You have to know how to love yourself, and then you can share your love with someone else. And when you meet someone, as I said Jaynaba before, you have to know you have to know you have to know the man or woman in front of you. You have to know exactly what he wants and where you are going with your future. Because when you know better yourself, you can easily know the people in front of you, what you want and what is expecting. If what is talking to you, what is saying to you is meet your expectation, because everyone got expectation of the future life or the better life. When you get into a relationship, as I say, the relationship is like it's not a game, but is it's like a game, but we are on the same team. We go in partnership, and we have the same jersey. We wear the same jersey, but we play the same game with different strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can add one more thing regarding the career, I was hearing what Nali was saying and Dominique was saying about figure out about the career, and when you focus on your career, you ain't got time to get a relationship or something like that. This is something I'm not agree about it, because for me, for my opinion, as I say, you can do both.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that I focused on my career. I said while I've been waiting, I went and got another degree, and I went to some houses while I'm waiting.
Okay, my bad.
So I'm saying I'm in the waiting room, and I'm not sitting around in the waiting room waiting. I'm actively in the waiting room.
Okay.
Right?
I believe Nali is the one who said that she focused on her career.
That was me that said I focused on my career. Yeah.
Yeah, you can be passively in the waiting room or actively in the waiting room. That's what I mean.
But that's a
you coming for knowledge.
She's like, I want to clarify.
I'm gonna jump on you. I'm gonna get spicy today, because
spicy.
For my opinion, we can do both, because our entire life we're challenging to everything. We're challenging right now. We are challenging for pandemic. We are challenging for raise a family. We are challenging to raise a child. We are challenging. People get 2 different jobs or 3 jobs or 4 jobs at the same time. We are challenging for everything. You can do both. You can pursue your career, and you can get into the relationship, on the serious relationship. As I say, this is only my opinion. This is only my opinion, because I say, for me, we are raising, the God raised us to challenge our entire life. We have to challenge our entire life, which means including the relationship. You can challenge the relationship and pursue your career at the same time.
I can respect that. I can respect Wilfred's opinion. I think for me, a lot of that process was, in choosing my career is also knowing my value. So being open to dating in that process meant that I was dealing with a lot of stuff that I'm like, this is not up to par to what I am doing right now in this season of my life. So then I'm deciding I'm not going to do both. I am fully, I respect folks that are able to like do it all, but I was like, do I need to, especially because I'm one of those like 150%. And if I know that I cannot give my full capacity to something, and then I'm spending time and it's not becoming a real serious thing, I'm like, I'd rather pick one or the other. But I completely agree that there are people that have the the ability to do both and can successfully manage it.
Can I interrupt you a bit, Nelly? Because basically, I get your point when you say that it's like you don't want to be because you don't want, if it's not really the person, you don't want to get into it. The thing is, like, for example, when I was talking about the dating phase I was in when I was single, it was like, it learned me a lot, because I knew how to talk to a guy and get the information I needed from him. And it was so funny. Once I was in a date with a guy, and actually we're discussing some random stuff. And because I started know exactly how to turn the question, the guy was married. And in the beginning, he started talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this."
Wait. Yeah. You were on a date, and you found out that he was married? I said, "Wait, did I hear right?"
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's something that wouldn't happen to me, that would have not happened to me if I didn't have all these experiences into dating. And now, at some point, when a guy was telling me, "Yeah, I have a car," I was like, "Yeah, but does he have a house before getting his car?" So, because what are his values? He's trying to build a house, or he's trying just to drive a nice car just to get all the girls. So, and I chose my husband over some other guys because he was like having a tiny car, but he told me, yeah, I just bought my house. And I was like, you, that's nice. And I had a guy who was like, had a huge car. I was like, no, I don't want this because that's not what I'm looking for. But you turn into something where you can, with the answer the person tells you, you can get to know him deeply. And I think without having all these experiences, I know, but it's just having a drink. I know it's not, maybe you're not looking for that, but yeah, but you get to know that person and you give a chance to someone. At the same, I know being single and being your own, traveling and having your own is still good. Yes, tell me.
So what you're saying, Jaynaba, basically is use the single period as a time to train yourself by, use the dating process to learn to interview in order to find the right candidate.
It's not like
because you're collecting
interviewing.
data and you're learning to practice how to get the right information. Because I'm like, how do you get somebody to discover that he's married? What was the question?
I know. I'm kind of like, this is like some FBI type of questions. So,
but actually, but like it was so random. Just like, oh, you're doing that. Oh, nice. How did you do this? And it's just like some random questions that you get to know. But then it's like if you go in an interview for a job, you get to train yourself for going to the interview. It's just the same. If you don't train yourself, if you go for apply for a job and you're not trained for the interview, you won't get the job. That's the same thing. So, for my point of view, that's something like but besides being a woman, I like being attractive, and I like people to like me, and I feel it boosts your confidence as well at some point, even though you don't need it, but it does, and I felt confident about doing it personally. So I don't know how the other people will think that, but that's the way I felt at the time.
Wow. Louis, you are too quiet tonight. Let me know.
I want to hear
what. Yeah, Louis, you've been listening. Like, how about you spice this up a little bit? Let me know what you think about all this.
Willie's like, wait a minute, wait.
No, my sound is not working. I apologize.
Oh,
my
okay.
sound is not working in the car, but I'm listening to everything. And man, wait, when I get home, I got a bunch of questions for you guys. You guys keep talking. I'm about to break everything. we're too respectful here.
He's bringing the spice.
5 more minutes. Y'all keep talking. I got 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness, that's thing. I mean, here's the thing about dating.
I got a question. I got a question for Nani.
Okay, Wilfred, here we go.
I got a question for Nani, if I may. I don't want to pick you, but I need to. We have to share our knowledge. Just a quick one. You say before, you were focused on your career. You can be in relationship and focus on the career on the same time.
Mm-hmm.
The question was, when by any chance, if you get into a relationship right now, are you gonna stop improve your career because you get in a relationship because you can do?
That's a good question. No, and I think to clarify, a lot of it was, yes, I was focusing on my career. Yeah. Yes, I had a child at that time. And no, I would not focus on those things now. But I think the wisdom that I've gained through this process and in aging and knowing that, like, okay, there are hard lines and there are some times when you need to learn how to be flexible because now you've lived life. You know what I mean? So I agree with that it's possible to do. I think it was my own self-introspection. At that point in my life, I wasn't as emotionally intelligent as I should have been to be able to do that. I had to do this because if I got into this with old boy, it was not going to be fruitful. Like, it was not going to produce what I wanted to produce. But now I think I'm at a certain age where it's like, okay, I understand my needs. I would be able to understand someone else's needs, and I would be able to understand the needs of, my business or my whatever it is, and know that there's a balance that needs to be achieved, and it's not being as self-centered. I think that's, one of the major things to develop. So I think that, there is a little bit of wisdom that is required in this process.
Yeah, and also thanks for that, guys. Also, one more question to everyone. I got one more
Wait,
question.
before
Has something to say.
hold it, y'all guys. And our just join us. Let's let
What the question is,
our
I just wanted to have
Hey,
the same
Alma.
question that Wilfried asked to Dominique, because she said that also she was focusing on career. And I just want to have the answer from Dominique, the same question. Sorry, before we move on.
Okay. So Dominique, hold the answer right now.
Dominique's like, I'm ready.
Hold the answer, Dominique. I'll let you introduce yourself, and then we're gonna get back to Dominique answering. So hi, Awa, how you doing? Let us know where you're joining us from. Tell us a little bit more about you, and let us know what is your take, your quick intro about the subject tonight.
Okay, so calling from Dakar, Senegal, and I'm 34. Actually, I'll be 35 this year, but it doesn't count because 2020 is canceled. So I am the regional manager of STEM Cafe. um, so I am joining you guys a little late, but 40 and single is fun. It's fun. You get to have a lot of experience in between. And when you have so much experience, then you know what you're actually looking for. And once you find that person, then it's for life. So that's going to be my intro for today. I'll let you continue.
Okay, awesome, Dominique. We are looking forward to your answer.
What was the question?
I think what Wilfred was saying is that even now, would you be able to, if you're, let's say hypothetically you're focusing your career right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Wilfred, would you be able to maintain and handle that relationship right now? What would you be able to balance the two, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I know what you're saying. But I will do both from my opinion. From my point of view, I will do both because this is challenging. This is our entire life for human people. We have to challenge everything. Everything we get in front of us, we have to challenge it.
Okay, but what was the question? I don't know what the question is for me.
Jaynaba, do you want to ask the question one more time for Dominique, please?
So yes, what Wilfried had said, it was like, because you wanted to focus on your career, do you think that once you get married or you find someone, are you going to be stopping to work on your career, or step back a bit?
That was Nali. I wasn't the one working on my career. I'm the divorcee. So I've been married. I'm now divorced, and I said that while I was because I would like to be remarried one day, but now I'm in a season that I'm single in my 40s, and I said that you can be passively single in your 40s or you can be actively single in your 40s. And for me, I have been actively single. I pursued a doctorate degree in my singleness. I've purchased investment property in my singleness. I'm pursuing many different other things because I believe that while I wait, I'm going to just get stuff done. So I don't think the transition for me will be difficult because I've been married. I know what it's like to be in that type of relationship. I'm no longer married. Was not my choice. It was the situational choice of what happened in my life. So now I look at it as these are the cards that I've been dealt. Either I play the hand or I get out the game. I'm choosing to play the hand.
Okay. I got can I ask, if I may, can I ask a question about that to everyone here? Everyone can hear me now? Yeah, I'm gonna ask a question regarding these things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for that, Dominique, but I got a question for that. When should be the time limit you're gonna ask yourself a question? Should I get in a relationship or should I stay single? what is the time? Wait, when should be the time limit for that? Because when you ask a question, when you ask yourself a question, should I get into a relationship? Should I start something, do something, or should I just stay single and focus on that everything else?
No. I don't even have a time limit because for me, I just date. I date and I gather data and I gather information, and then I'm gonna see what works for me, right? So now I think with my experience, I call it a failure, but it's a lot of lessons, right? With now I'm coming into the pool equipped with much more on my belt than I had the first go around, right? And so now I'm paying attention to things that are red flags. I'm paying attention to things that in the future could be a problem. Does he get along with his mom? If he doesn't get along with his mom, he's probably not going to love me the way Dominique needs to be loved. Does he have accountability? Who can check him? Who is in his life who can say, you know what, dude, that was wrong? If he doesn't have accountability, if he doesn't have anybody in his life that can check him, he's probably not going to work for Dominique, right? So now I'm coming in with a new set of lenses from experiential knowledge. So date, and I enjoy dating. I enjoy getting to know people. I enjoy, saying, yeah, that's not going to work. Next. I love next. Next is nice.
Yeah, we agree with that. But just one more thing. I agree with that. I'm very agree with that, Dominique. Just one more thing. Don't get too much inspection to people, because if you get too much inspection of people in front of you, you're going to waste your time just to get inspection after inspection. You have to. This is my point of view. Just get people.
Wilfred is wearing the life jacket. He's taking over.
Don't be that.
He said the inspection, though.
Excuse my French, but I'm saying, I'm calling inspection because you are.
I love it.
You are doing inspection of people in front of you when you're dating people, but don't get in too much, because when you get in too much, you're going to waste your time just to get inspection like a policeman.
I agree. I 100% agree. So
thank you for that.
It has to be quality date.
He was bringing the life jog spice, because I was like, what?
Yeah, Wilfred is like, change your checklist, review your checklist, Dominique. Review your inspection checklist. Like,
telling me don't be like Miss Inspector. Don't overly inspect. Or selectively choose who I'm gonna inspect, but not dating someone is not a reason for inspection. Because sometimes on the first date, I'm like, I don't really need to know more. Next.
Exactly. No, you're right. Agree with that. You're right. Because this is your time. I would say this is your resilience time. You get into the previous relationship, you get divorced. Now you got more experience to move forward for the next and the better of you. That's the point. Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
This is
I wanted to answer this question as we go along, because Kim asked this question a long time ago.
I saw Kim.
So I don't think that there is nothing wrong with being single. I have two friends, one who is planning her wedding without a husband in faith. What does you guys think about that? I think what she means is that her friend doesn't have any candidate yet, but she's already planning her wedding. Okay?
No.
Hold on.
He is not living in the house.
No,
faith
she needs
without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. That's okay.
That's it. So she needs to get out there and she needs to go snatch souls. That's it. Like, she needs to get out there. She needs to get out there and go meet people. She needs to go meet people. Like, you're not gonna wait by faith. No, it's not gonna happen. No.
What she is planning, she has a music list, her dress. And yes, she has to go the extra step and go start meeting people.
I mean, if she's booking wedding venues, that's a problem. That's a problem. Okay.
Hey,
but if she's talking about hypothetical, like this is what I would like it to be, but then again, you should also consider these are things you have to have as a discussion with this person. So if you're creating this, event, go ahead, Jaynaba. I see your finger up. She's like, I had a comment.
Wait,
Yeah,
guys, wait.
I'm
Can
just
she have a
thinking that
vision board though? Maybe it's just a vision board.
Maybe it's a vision board.
Maybe the life judge is better.
No, it's not about because maybe
she's
the only issue that you have with that fan that she's dreaming about her wedding is also maybe she has like wish she's expecting like the Prince Charming, and it doesn't work like that. So she's gonna be disappointed. So she has to be down to earth, and she's 39. So she has to look something that is real. Getting a wedding might be like just the two of you getting married somewhere, and it does work. So I don't know why she's like dreaming about that.
I mean, the thing that got me about that question is I understand that whole, you want to have faith, you have hope and expectation, but that last aspect of she is tired of waiting, to me, that speaks volumes about where she is emotionally. Because in this season, as we've all discussed, this is an opportunity for growth and development and self-introspection. And yes, everybody's going to get agitated at one point in life about, whether you're waiting for this, whether you're waiting for your tax return, whatever it may be, that impatience is there. But if you're letting your impatience drive you to act, that's where, for me, it becomes problematic, because now your faith is no longer on, okay, Lord, if she's a believer, I don't know if that is the case, but your faith now is in your works in your hand and what you're going to do to manifest this. And you might manifest the wrong thing. You know what I mean? So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that too. I completely agree with Nolly, because I think there's a difference between being single and trying to get somebody and you can't get them. I think that is like she said, it's about the drive, it's about the focus. Like, what are you focusing on in this time? Like, okay, so I'm a pastor, and I use some scripture sometime to use it. So there's a passage in Psalm 37 verse 4. It says, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. So that's kind of a mindset that seems to be more like, all right, I'm going to focus on God. I'm going to focus on developing myself, and I'm going to focus on growing. And what's going to happen as a result of that is this natural connection, attraction. Somebody said in the comments, while you're single, you're developing the skills to attract the type of person that you want to connect with. And so if you're in that phase and you're doing that, then what's naturally going to happen, what's naturally going to come into your orbit is the type of person that you want to work on. But if your mindset is kind of like, all right, man, I gotta get a person. I gotta get a person. And that's what you're doing. You're gonna be grabbing like Spicy was saying, you're gonna be out there trying to snatch souls, and these souls are gonna be confused as to why they are even snatched, because there's no actual attraction, there's no actual organic connection between this. But when you're doing, as Dominique said, waiting actively, building, developing, and letting your spirituality be a part of that, because a lot, we're all believers, so that's part of our mentality. When you're doing that, then that becomes part of the process of the attraction itself. And that, I think, is really where the rubber meets the road when it comes to your drive and your motivation for what you're doing in the single time.
If I may add something about it, I would say
before we continue, guys, I think we somebody clarified. My team got me on the side, and apparently we read the question. We misunderstood the question. She is already dating somebody that is a non-believer. I think this is a faith question. When she say that,
I missed that part of the question.
Okay, so apparently, I think the way we read the question is what we all understood. Maybe it was not well expressed, but I got clarification from the team in the background. And apparently, she's a believer dating a non-believer. So this is more like a initially yoked kind of situation. So so that is different. So let's get the answers and the reactions based on that. This is a different issue then.
So, okay, that makes a difference because, you know, I'm of the belief that if we, this is just my thought, if we can't pray to the same God and we can't talk about the same things and we can't have same, I can't pray for you, you can't pray for me because we don't have the same beliefs, I feel like at one point there's going to be a disconnect. Some people may be able to do it, but I feel like it ain't like I like peanut butter and you like tuna fish. That's completely different. That's a different type of vibe. And this is about faith and values and how you want to set up your life. And if you don't have, like, if you're not in alignment with each other, then in certain areas of life, you know, there's going to be friction. And if you're strong enough to be able to handle that, okay. I personally, I don't agree with that, but you know, I mean, I think it'd be very difficult to do, but I'm interested in hearing what people have to think about, what have to say about that.
I'm gonna jump on this really quick. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Let's use
I
it.
got my shirt. I got my superpower shirt. So here it is. I don't really think that it's a problem because relationship is a place where people grow together. Now, not everybody's gonna believe in the same, not gonna have the same faith. But if you both love each other, are willing to work together and go in the same direction, I don't see that being a problem. As a matter of fact, I actually think being 39 and the fact that she's waiting only for a believer might be the problem why she's 39 and where she's at. Because you know you're told to wait until the charming prince show up, or like Dundee said, delight yourself in the Lord, and then He's gonna give you the desire of your heart. That also can be a trick because what end up happening is that you deny yourself too much in the Lord, and then the only person that you can marry is Jesus, because you're not gonna find anybody out there. So I said I'm just gonna throw it out there. I can't. And that's
I'm
a
telling you, yes.
Hey,
no, honestly, you need to talk about the real thing. I've seen women waiting for the men that look like Jesus, but the man that look like Jesus is not out there for her. So she gotta go and find the man that is gonna match her goal, her energy, her love, like honestly, and then y'all go together. And at the end of the day, isn't it that we need to work, we need to live together, to grow together? I mean, to me, I feel like that's the goal. Now, I understand it's very important that to be in a place where you can pray, you can like look at life in the same perspective, but there's wealth in difference. And I think if the person has a heart to just that loves you, that embraces you as a person and want to see you grow and become a better version of yourself on a daily basis and really care for you, the issue of faith, just being the same faith as you should, is at some point, I don't want to say secondary, but it shouldn't be predominant over the fact that.
Okay, let me jump.
Sorry, but anyway, I'm gonna let everybody talk.
You bring a spice on the table. You bring a spice on the table, the lab Joe. Louis, you bring a spice on the table.
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna disagrey with you, bro. I'm not gonna disagree with the spice. Like I was taking on.
You have a name now. The spice.
You gotta have. This is the thing. I think there's an assumption. So I read the Bible verse, and I'm talking about delighting in the Lord, and God's going to give you the desires of your heart. So here's the assumption that's got to be cleared up. The assumption is that what the desires of your heart is if you're in the mindset of the Lord, then what is in line with that is somebody that goes to church, somebody that does this, somebody does this, that. I think God is bigger than what we limit God to. I think that God understands more about us than we even understand about ourselves. I think that in terms of lining us up, there are all kinds of aspects of our life that line up. So if like he's saying, somebody is waiting and their only holdback is faith, then maybe their perception of what it means to be connected is something that needs to have a little bit of growth. Because
skewed is the word.
What's that?
I said the word was skewed.
Skewed?
I was going to say the perception is skewed. If the faith was the only thing that is aligning you, then maybe that connection is a bit skewed.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure.
right. It could be because you could have somebody that goes to church and still verbally abuses you. You could have somebody that go to church and still thinks that you should serve them and you're not equals and all this kind of stuff. There's all kinds of different things that can happen. So I think that the idea of God giving you the desires of your heart, lining you up with a companion that works. I think what Louis is saying about you growing together in a relationship, I think that can happen with somebody that has not been at the same level of where you are in your faith. It's all a part of who you are as a person. But it's the motivation. If your motivation is I'm tired of waiting, so I'm just gonna do this, that's not a good motivation regardless. If you find that you are truly connecting with this person and there are some things that you want to work on and grow together, I think that's different than settling. So I want to know what you think about that.
I think the settling part is the part that is throwing me off, especially if you already have some red flags. Religion should, I think, again, it comes back to what Jaynaba was saying. What are your core values? Is it no for you to have somebody from a different faith, or is it something that you are open to if the person respects what you're doing and actually understand where you're standing and you guys can grow together, right? Because I have somebody around me who is actually dating and be with somebody from a different faith. She's a Christian, and their relationship is different because the guy being a Muslim is open to actually learn from her. Right? It's a matter of everybody different, and more so, like, what are you willing to let go when it comes to values? Is being a church person important to you more than being somebody that is honest, open, transparent, respectful, honorable? Or do you just want somebody that says that, oh, we go to church together, and then when you come home is the issue because the person really does not follow any of the principles that are lined up in the Bible, and it's not even trying to be like Jesus? What is the most important thing for you? What are your priorities? What are you focusing on when it comes to the relationship? If you have some red flags that are showing you that this is not the right person, but just because you are looking at the time, hey, I'm 39, and you are looking at society pressuring you, and you are looking at this, then you're gonna see yourself 10 years from now divorcing, being single again at 50, instead of waiting to get the right person and using this time, just like Dominique said, to work on yourself, to discover who you are, what you like, go for your passion, pursue your dreams, grow, learn about things that you like to do. Because what happens sometimes is that people do what they call like the 40 crisis, where because they have been so married so young, didn't do a lot of things, that they reach a point in their life where they want to try new stuff. So I think that was also what I like about what Wilfred said, that it's important to enjoy each season, and after a relationship, actually take time to do some introspection, to do some work and understand, because then you try to work and to grow and to improve yourself. Because if you just jump from a relationship to another one, what happens is that you keep repeating the same mistakes because you're not taking time to work on you. Jaynaba, I see that you have things to say.
Yeah, so I have something to say because, and it's just gonna be a break between what Wilfred had said and also what Dundee had said, because personally, I know that I was dating someone who was ticking all the boxes, because I'm Muslim, even though I was raised in a family that was Christian and Muslim, so that makes a huge difference. And I was also in a Christian school. That's how I met Carlita. So I was in a very open-minded family. So I had to learn Christianity, but also Muslim, Islam. So I know both religions. And my parents were really open. I was like a Muslim who was allowed to eat pork at home. And I was like, yeah. And it was very different from whatever I would say people were raised as a Muslim family in Senegal. And when I arrived here, I met this guy, and he was a proper Muslim. He was ticking all the boxes, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And at some point I went to be so much with him that I start like practicing more my religion. And I was like, my mom was kind of happy because she was like, oh yes, she's getting into it, even though I never had a pressure at home. But then I realized it was not me, because as you were saying, Dundee, he was trying to, how would say it, he was trying to pressure me, and he was trying to frame someone like the way he wanted me to be. I was not myself. And even though I was making my 5 prayers a day and I was fasting and doing all those stuff, but I was not really feeling happy. And I always had a huge faith because I always believed in God, and I'm reading my books and all those stuff, but I was not doing my prayers. But I had someone to make me do those prayers, and I was not feeling happy. So, and he was so into religion that I realized he was not for me, and that's also why we broke up. And I'm so happy that I broke up with him, because I was into religion, but I was not happy. I was not myself. And I wouldn't have wanted my kids to be raised in such an environment. And now I have and I would have been better with someone Christian or from another religion, or someone who was not even believing in God, but letting me do whatever I believed in. So that's why that was my takeover.
Wow, I think this is a big point. You know, we're joking about it, but I think this is one of the main reasons why some of the people are still single, is because first, some people believe that, the whole verse about being unequally yoked, which I think can be unequally yoked, not just because you guys have different religions, but also because you guys can be both Christian and still not believe in the same thing. So be unequally yoked. You guys can be, believe both in Jesus, and still, because you don't have the same value, you are unequally yoked. So being unequally yoked means so many things, and I think this is one of the things that we try to break through this channel, is the whole religiosity of things, right? The whole dogma, the way people read the Bible, and the way it was interpreted for so long. We want people to understand that you have to have a personal relationship with God, right? You need to have a personal relationship with God. Means that whatever the religion you are comfortable in practicing, as long as, for me, I'm not going to judge somebody because they were Muslim, because I had my own share. I had to search God in different ways before I found him. And for me personally, today, it's Jesus. But I also do respect my friends who are Muslim, because I was Muslim for 11 years. So I was born Christian, tried many things, which in other terms, have been Muslim. As of right now, the religion that I've practiced the most is Muslim. And I went back to Christ 3 years ago, 4 years now, in 2017. So for me, I do respect everybody's journey, but for me, the most important thing, the golden rule for me is you have to be the person that you expect your partner to be. When it comes to relationship, you cannot, expect somebody to be a 10 and you are a 3. Okay, it requires for you to do the work to come very close to 10, in order to get a 10. But you cannot be a 3 and expect a 10, and then complain about the fact that the person is a 10, or because you are still a 3. So for me, it's like, we need to get to the point where we understand that being single is not a bad thing, but at the same time, you don't want to jump into a relationship just because everybody around you is married, or everybody around you is asking you, okay, what's wrong with you? You know, Dominique, feel free to jump in. I know you are a post divorce counselor. That's your profession. I want to hear from you when it comes to when you receive some of those divorcees. Like, what are the main reasons why they divorce, and how do you counsel them through focusing on the right thing in the season when they are single, trying to heal from those trauma?
Yeah, so there's so many different reasons. I mean, I think it's definitely a broad spectrum. I've counseled people who their spouse woke up one day and said they no longer were heterosexual and they wanted to be in a homosexual relationship. And, you know, the spouse had no clue, didn't see it coming, couldn't find any red flags. So there are definitely a myriad of things that would lead to divorce, you know, infidelity. That's not always the case. Some people, you know, their reason is we've fallen out of love. I was with him since I was 14 years old. I'm now 35. I've never known anything else. It's not fair. I want something. I want to experience something. I don't know anything. So there's a wide range of reasons. But initially, my whole thing is I think a lot of people come in with this failure mentality. I failed. Woe is me. And then the other thing is the perspective. The perspective of 90% of the time, it's what will people think perspective. And so initially I have to work with the what will people think. You gotta kill the noise. You have to kill the exterior noise, and then you have to sit in what was your part, right? Because I think it takes two people, and you have to own your stuff and then disown what doesn't belong to you. Because sometimes you find people that take the burden of the entire relationship, and you just don't have a wide enough shoulder to carry that, right? You played a part. Sit back and look back, reflect. What part did you play? And then what part did he or she play? And then when we define that and we own that, then you forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the part that you played. Now we start working on, okay, this was an experience. This happened. Now, what did I learn? What have I learned? What can I take away from this experience? Right? Okay, now I can change my perspective of failing to an expensive lesson. A lot of times it's very expensive. It's emotionally expensive, financially expensive. It's expensive. Get to that place where you start breaking down, what did I learn? And then to the place where if you have to seek therapy, you get therapy. I'm a firm believer in external professional help. If you feel the grief is so much, it's so great, I recommend therapy. I recommend getting healed. But I definitely think the main thing is that you don't want to go into your next with all of that baggage, with all of the crap, right? Because what's going to happen is it's like any other thing that you would use to mask the pain. You will literally drag men around if it's a woman, because you're just trying to mask the pain. You're just trying to, you know, pile stuff on so that you don't feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that does answer my question. People that are single because they have been divorced, right? Like, let's talk about people who are single, who have never been married. As married people or ex-married people, I would say, in even, you know, male or female perspective, what would be your advice for people who are listening to us tonight and are literally 40, single, and sick of it, and they're trying to find solutions, not because they have the wrong perspective, but because they feel like they're doing something wrong? Especially when you, like, let me just get real here for a minute, okay? I'm not unattractive. I'm not stupid. And then sometimes I look at I'm part of like 10,000 groups, right? Because I network a lot. And then you see Becky marrying one of my brothers.
Carlita is going for the kill, Carlita.
And I'm like, dang, what am I doing wrong? You know, like.
Oh boy.
So here it is now. Let's get real. What is the advice here when it comes to like somebody that feels like, what am I doing wrong? Guys, what are you looking for in a woman? Let's say, you know, when it comes to like this phase of your life, educated and all that, what are your expectations in terms of like a woman that you feel like, okay, she's like marriage material? What is that? And Jaynaba is gone, but I was going to say, like, on the other side, for Jaynaba who's married, like, what is she looking for men? so that we can have both perspectives. But Dominique, you can feel free to do that. But let me hear from the man here. What is the husband? What is the wifey material for you guys?
What do you mean by work material? Work material? What do you mean by
I mean, it's an expression that
it's
is
an
said.
expression. Okay.
What are you looking for? What is the definition of a wife? You know, I would say generally speaking for men, and I know every man has different tastes and you know, one different saviors, but like, let's just say generally speaking, what can we agree on that men are looking for when it comes to like a woman?
Okay. For my opinion, if I may go on first, for my opinion, I would say when I'm looking for a wife, I'm looking for the best version of myself. This is the first thing. I'm looking the best version of myself, because when I say earlier on the beginning, we are the team. When you get married or get a relationship, you are the team. And on a team, you have the best player and the less player. And when you get your best version of yourself, you're going to improve yourself all the time in your entire life. I would say it can be it's a vice versa, because the women are looking the best version of herself as well. We are looking each other the best version of ourselves, just to get better in our relationship. That's the first thing I'm looking for. And also, I would say, when you've been single for a while, you have to review, first of all, I would say maybe not for the woman, but for everyone, you have to review, first of all, your criteria, because maybe your criteria may be too high or too less. You have to review your criteria step by step to see what exactly you really want. When you're dating someone or when you get in a relationship, what exactly you really want exactly. And also, in our community, I would say for Black people community, we have to forget a little bit about the biological clock. I would say, excuse my French about it, the biological clock, because in our culture, the biological clock is most important thing for our family. When the woman reach 30 years old or more than 30 years old, the family or our family are looking at what's wrong with you. You have to get married. You have to raise a child. You have to get married. You have to have a child. This is causing the serious problem in our community. We have to think about it. We know it's important, but it's not the only thing you can get in a relationship without the belief in the person in front of you.
Talking about the community part, I've even heard, just give us a child. I mean, skipping the whole marriage thing, just give us a child. This is something we can talk about later once all the male answer the question. Like, I have heard in our community, family said, just give us a child now. You know, I want to hear you guys about that later, but let's let the men answer the question when it comes to like, what are you looking for when it comes to a woman? And then Jaynaba and Dominique are gonna tell us like the expectation when it comes to men.
We're gonna let Pastor Doggy say something about it.
I really want the spice, man.
He wants the spice. He wants the spice. Okay, here we go. All right, good. Now, with what I know about myself, our community, and me holding 3 daughters, what I would look for in a woman first is first of all that she's a Black woman that knows who she is, that knows where she's from and know where she's going. Okay. Second, like Wilfried said, I kind of agree with Wilfried. Les filles, s'il vous plaît, les amis, s'il vous plaît. I agree with Wilfried that he said that I'm looking for the best version of myself, but the only but that I have in this equation is that, like, I want her also to look at me as being the best version of herself. So it has to be reciprocal in the sense that
vice versa.
Exactly. So
yeah, exactly.
She has to be the person that would challenge me, and I would challenge her. And that's really what got me to like lock down on my wife. But we were very young. We were very young when we got together. Now, the third thing for me, again, Carlita, we know we talk a lot about different things in life, but I would just say that like she has to have a drive and a desire to make things better for our people. That's for me is like very important because where we are as a people, as a community, as a group of people, we are in a situation where we need the black men and the black women to come together and to work together to build a better society for black children so that tomorrow we can be in a better situation that we are today. So again, I want somebody that we're gonna work together and build ourselves together. I need somebody that is a black woman first because she's gonna understand me. I'm gonna understand. We're gonna have each other back in this world that we're living in. And third, I want somebody that loves black people and that's gonna work to make black people better everywhere we are in the world. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now before the spice come. But Carlita, I don't understand. I still don't understand it. Still don't understand why. And I'm gonna get out there in a mission to find a brother. But I still don't
I mean,
understand.
please
I still don't
do.
understand how. I don't understand how. Like I don't
I
understand
don't
it.
either.
It's happening to our brothers, man. Honestly. Anyway, I'm
I
just gonna
know
let you
Jaynaba
guys.
is on a mission too. I know Jaynaba is personally on a mission for a little bit now. But yeah, I still don't understand. I don't
That
understand.
makes two of us. Don't worry. I'm in a
That being
mission now.
said, I got some feedback that some men are impressed. I don't know by what, but they are impressed. That's one of the things that I receive a lot. Plus, I'm like 5'11", so I'm at 80. I'm not short, so I think all together, plus it can, apparently it's scary, but I'm nice. You guys know me, right? I'm a nice person, right?
Anyway, we got you. That's two of us from two different continents. We're good.
Yeah. That's not the problem to be tall. That's not the problem to be tall. I'm 6'6". I'm tall, man. But it's not a problem. It's not a problem to be
For
tall.
some people, it
It's
is.
not physical.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's a physical problem. Maybe something else, but I don't know. I don't think some people.
Okay, let me.
yeah.
let
Maybe
me-
we can.
Yeah, go ahead, Alice. Go ahead, Alice. We are waiting for.
Okay.
My case is like in your hands, guys. So don't just come on, answer. Let me know what you are looking for. Back. As a woman, as a wife.
I think a lot of times the problem is not with the woman. Let me start by that. The problem is not with the woman. The problem is that there are a lot of factors, even outside of just the natural development of the relationship, especially when you're thinking about, I'm thinking about life in America. Black people as a whole, there are so many different things that they're dealing with. So many different messages, so many people trying to control and manipulate their life. So they're Black people on their own are trying to fight for their own agency, just period. Second of all, you have people that are really trying to learn how to live together, how to be together and exist as a community. I mean, there are so many things in American history where systematic oppression has actively worked to separate the Black man and Black woman. That's just a part of the history. And so what we're dealing with now is a part of the residue of trying to get like that. One of the things that I give you full disclosure, a lot of people, they kind of look at me funny because my wife is Korean. My wife's not Black. My wife is Korean from Korea. And they say, how can you speak about Black love for Black women if you didn't marry a Black woman? But here's the thing. Growing up, I had all the positive examples. I had all of the great Black women in my life leading me, nurturing me. I was taught to value Black women and all of those things. The thing in my specific situation is I was not in an area where I was around a bunch of Black people when I fell in love with my wife. I was in Korea, and so I'm naturally going to fall in love with somebody that's Korean. But I think that what can happen here is we have to, as a culture, continue to cultivate the concept of Black love. I mean, I've seen, for example, I've been on TikTok lately, and I've seen a trend where these young black boys are intentionally like rejecting black girls. Like that's a trend. That's
a trend.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we have to actively combat those kind of things because they are actually forming certain sorts of stigmas in the mind of people. Go ahead.
Is it for the Becky? Is it due to the Beckys? Like, or is it just they're open to all other but black women?
No, Nally. So Nally, I'm not gonna interrupt Dandies. I'm gonna let you go.
Go ahead.
That's the reason why. Attends, maman, s'il te plaît. Okay? Attends. It's because it's the reason why we're having this conversation, 40 and being single, is that we have a lot of women from our community being in this specific situation, because as we know in America, the black woman is the most educated person in America. With that also come the issue that not the issue, but what stemmed from that is that we have a lot of black women also that are so overeducated and so they have a great career, make great income, but then they cannot find a mate that they're gonna continue build their life with. And I think when you go to that, the next generation is gonna see that, like subconsciously see that and follow that. Now reverse, the boys at the same time, they're in a place where now with whatever society is putting in front of their face, they're going to go for anybody but the black woman. That's why you have all this trend on TikTok. That's why you have all this thing where if you go anywhere in Montreal, for example, you're gonna see every banner. It's a black man and a white woman everywhere. So what end up happening is that you have a bunch of young men that are out there. They literally, my wife is one victim of that. They literally will insult black women and black girls at school because they prefer the white woman more than the black woman. And when you do that and you do the math, and now you have a lot of our women also in a space where, in a religious space, and I know many where they're being told to wait and wait and wait, and they find themselves further in life where they don't have any husband. So you have society that's already putting pressure on you, being just in a place where the men from your community don't want you. You have society that's like you have like the corporate world that also will put you in a place of leadership where so you go for the job and all of that. And then now you have the younger generation that basically start dismissing the black woman. So at the end of the day, what's going to end up happening is that we're just going to have the same cycle repeating tomorrow, where we're going to have a lot of my daughters tomorrow being in a place where they're going to have to they're just going to look for a black, if they want to build a life with a black man like their father, they're not going to find one because black men are alienated. So that's why I really emphasize on that black woman, because tomorrow there's young boys that are going to be looking up to me, and they got to see me with a black woman and black girls and building a black family. And it's very important for us, for people, African people of African descent. It's very important to us. The challenges that's going on out there, the things that are going on in society right now, is really dangerous for our women, and we need our women to birth our children. That's basically why I was.
Okay,
so can I interrupt?
I'll just quick. Let me just and then I'll let you guys go back.
Go ahead.
So my point is, these are the trends that we're seeing in society. So as a society, as a community, just like Joe is saying, we need to actively combat that concept. So even like for me, even though my wife is not black, you'll still always see in all of my content online, everything, you will always see me celebrating black women, always picking black women, always making sure that I am honoring black women, because that's the type of messaging that I want to get out. I think as individuals, we have our sphere of influence, and that is how we can sort of influence our society. So the reason I answer your question like that is because I would rather than trying to just say like, here's a list of what I kind of expect out of the woman that I would want to marry. I want us to think about valuing women altogether, and specifically us in our culture valuing Black women. And that is a cycle. That is something that as people are seeing that more, because that's why it's not happening right now, because there's been so much messaging in the opposite way. So how do you combat that? By getting messaging in the positive way and in the affirmative way. It's going to take time, but that's something that we have to continue to do. When you see people like Beyonce, who is like very much pro-Black, when you see other celebrities that are very much openly pro-Black, those are things that start to work to kind of swing that pendulum in the other direction. And so we have to continue doing that. We have to continue messaging and actions in that realm so that we can get to a place in a space where Black women are honored, Black women are loved, and that is what's going to do it. In terms of what's happening with an individual person, I would never advise any woman to think that there is something wrong with them because they're not able to attract something. I think that's just a space of continue to develop yourself, and the right connections are going to happen organically. That's what I would say.
Wow, thank you, Donovan. Jaynaba, the floor is yours.
Yes. So I was just wanting to say I don't agree with Louis with what he was saying about like having to get married to someone who's Black. I happen to be married to someone Black, but I was not supposed to be, I would say. And my sister is not married to someone Black, but her husband, my sister pushed our culture so strongly on him that I think he's Blacker than my husband. So, and that's so crazy. And basically, personally, what I'm trying to learn and to teach to my daughter is that she can be Black and very, very Black, but she can marry for whoever she wants and whoever accepts the way she is. So that person can be Black, white, Indian, whatever she wants, but she's Black and she has to know that she is Black. And she should not change herself because she's meeting someone different. And that's what I want her to learn. She is Senegalese, she's Malian, and she's French. And all that makes her all together. And whoever she meets should just like accept it. That's the way I am just trying to raise my daughter and to raise also my son. So my son might maybe have a wife that is a foreigner, dark, Black. I don't even care, but I want him to be strongly Black and be able to know all the culture that is behind it. So my kids have like African name, very African name, I would say. And there is a story behind my daughter's name. So I'm trying to teach her what it is, and so that she can also teach at school what the African culture and tell, because the school where she's attending is all white. So she's the only Black person, but she's there with her name that is different, and her hair, she has like natural hair, and she teaches everything that is about the Black culture to her friends. When we come from Senegal, she brought stuff from Senegal. And that's what I'm trying to push my culture into people so that they get to know me and get to know our culture. So it's not about finding the person who's Black or not Black, because love, you can't define the color of the person you're going to fall in love with. I'm sorry. That's the way I think about it.
That's another debate. That's another debate right here. That's another debate I'm ready for, and I'm going to add
this is indeed another conversation to have, I think.
Yeah.
But what I would say though is like some people are white in their skin but Black in heart, and some people are Black in heart but like very white because of the alienation, right? So I think like this is a total conversation, another like let's talk about it that we're gonna have when it comes to interracial our union, when we get into the marriage series in February, right? So what I want now, because we're getting close to 2 hours now of conversation, what are your, I would say, beginning of conclusion or solution when it comes to like being single, society pressure, some of the things that we need to think about, and basically what this singleness season means to all of you?
I can go first because I got a bunch of people screaming around me. So the solution, right? It looks like the conversation is being revolving a lot around black women, but we're talking about being 40 and single. So that also involve black men. Okay. So now with that situation, because we talk about our community, so I can only talk about our community. With that said, what I would recommend, the solution for our community is that the black men that are watching this in the future and they're 40, just get with a sister. That's it. Because there's women out there that are your age that want to get in a relationship. They're ready. They're executive in companies. They got PhDs. They got 2 houses, 4 houses. They're beautiful. They got yo. What you waiting for? You gotta get your mind straight and find a sister. Period. That's it.
Wait. Louis, it is so simple for you to say because you are very open-minded for an African. But let's get real here.
Yeah.
African men feel uncomfortable with women who, one, make more money than them, 2, are more educated than them, and there is a price factor in our community that we need to take in consideration. Let's get real here for a minute. Like,
I'm gonna be real.
That's another debate. That's another debate.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's another conversation.
For me to say that, but I do not totally agree because I face it every day. Okay,
Yes,
so this
yes,
is one of the
that's-
reasons why. When you say you don't know why, this is one of the reasons why.
But let me
This is
just reiterate. I am not trying to find an excuse. So now we're trying to find solution, right? I'm talking to the brothers. I'm telling the brothers, get your mind straight, get your mind together, and get over your ego, your how you call that again? Oh, your discomfort, whatever. Get out of that, and then get with a black woman, because the fact is too many black women are single. We're not even talking about just single at this age. We even talk about women that are also single mothers, single parenting. Like, there are so many of our women just already out there, and they are beautiful. What are you looking for? If your mission is to get with a black woman, guess what? You're gonna find one. That's it. You just got to make up your mind. That's my stance. That's for the brothers. Now, for the sisters, if you're in your 40s and you're single, I'm not gonna. I don't want to poke Dominique a little bit, but your checklist got to be revised. I know Dominique has a past, and she has every single right to put those not bear those checklists in point, because she's already been to the relationship. That's respectful. That's respectable. That's actually experience that she already has. So she has experience. But I think while you're waiting, if you are in her case, while you're waiting, try to consecrate some time, a little bit more time, to try to, I would say, trying to meet the person that's going to take you to the next phase of your life. What is the next phase of your life? Is the next phase of your life to build a family? Is the next phase of your life just building wealth? Is the next phase of your life just trying to discover the best version of yourself? Then you can go travel with the person. Just find out what's the best phase of your life. What's the next phase? And then just find a person that's going to at least take you to the next level. That's just my advice. Now, for the sister that has never been married and then in the 40s, and they're waiting for the Lord to send them the husband, I say stop waiting for the Lord. And at the same time, you got to get out there. You got to go really meet the person. You got to go out. You got to go meet the person. You got to go meet people. That's just the way it's going to work. You got to go meet people. And I'm going to give a recommendation. Go find brothers, because we need babies to build our community. Like, whatever is happening in our community. Sorry, man. I don't want to go. That's another debate. So, sisters, just revise your checklist. Just
waiting on the Lord.
Yeah. One more. You have to do the work in yourself.
Yes.
Do the work in yourself. The majority of people want to go in a relationship with a person that's gonna make them feel better. Tina, that's gonna do everything that she wants. No, you have got to go in a relationship with the heart that, yo, I need to work on myself, and this person is just added value, period. And guess what?
Added value. I like that.
If you need to go to therapy to get over your trauma, go to therapy. It's not your husband that's going to help you get over trauma. No, it's go to therapy, go talk to a counselor, go talk to a coach. If you need to have a professional helping you get through that, to get over those. There's some sisters that, because they've been told that they can't, sex is bad, then they get in a relationship that they don't even know how to be seductive. Guess what? You're not going to find a man if you cannot even be seductive, right? So at the end of the day, that's a reality. That's a reality. So yeah, I'm going all over the place, but I'm just adding spices right now. So the sisters, please, all I can tell you is that start get in touch with your feminine side. Get in touch with your feminine side. Really, the feminine energy. I got some recommendation. If you need help, just come to the live jog. I'm gonna hook you up. And then just get out there and just go get it. That's it. You ain't got time to. If you want to get in a relationship, go get it.
All these face is about to be a meme.
I mean, don't just be a go-getter when it comes to work. Basically, be a go-getter when it comes to the men, right? Do I like summarize what you mean?
No,
don't just be a go-getter when it comes to. Some men can feel like very like that the woman is aggressive when that happens.
Nah, just let him go and just find somebody else. That's it. Like, what do you feel like you gotta date one person? You gotta date 4 or 5 people, and then at the same time, between the 4 or 5, you're gonna find the person. Like, I don't know why.
Okay. Hold on. Time out. I'm all for it though. You know what?
Yeah.
Dating is collecting data. We've been talking about it. That's right. But here is how it is seen. Because this society is so unfair to women. When a man is dating multiple women, it's fine. He's a man, especially in the African culture. But let a woman start dating different men at the same time. They have put us that so much in our head that I personally, when I'm talking to more than one person, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Not that I'm doing something wrong, but I feel like I'm doing something wrong because society has put that so much in our head.
I told you I got a plug. If you need a plug, I can give you a plug later. But here's the thing. We got to tell the person at the beginning. You tell him this is just an interview. You're not the only person I'm talking to. If they're not down for it, let them go. Go find another person. You're a beautiful woman. So why? Just tell the person from day one, I'm talking to 3 contenders and I'm the price. And guess what? When they talk to you, they know they got to make moves. If they're making moves, you let them be and go find. Yo, there's so many brothers. Yo, at the end of the day, sister, you got to face life and be like, I want to be in a relationship. I want to put as much effort in getting for the relationship as I'm going in, let's say, my career, my job, everything else. That was my conclusion. And if you need
ladies, all the single ladies up here, if you don't know who you're missing something. I'm personally about to hook up my brother after. Okay, I don't know. There's gonna be a line. Get ready. Thank you, Louis. Thank you so much. We love having you. You have an official name now, The Spice. Okay, The Spice. Next time you come in, this is from The Spice.
I know this.
Who is next, guys? Who is next? Nadi, come on. You have been quiet for too long. I don't know you to be that quiet.
I'm over here trying to process what I just heard. Like, wait, what? I'm still, my system is digesting. I was just like, I do feel like there's a double standard. I feel like we can say all of these things, but at the end of the day, if a man's perspective, it comes down to that's the way that society has formed the way of thought. So and even in my case, I've done that. I've been like, listen, you ain't the only player in the game right now. You know, and I've told people that. And people just, they either do 2 things. They either have a tantrum and act weird, or they get like extra and be like on the verge of being like, I'm going to have to block you, or I'm going to have to do something because now you're getting a little scary. So I think it's just that it is a double standard. People are not used to that, or then you get labeled as like, oh, because she thinks she all that, or she, or something like that. And sometimes I'm like, yes, I am all that in a bag of chips, and that's a problem for you, clearly. So then I'm not going to be able to, that's it. But the thing is that if you have to spend so much time and energy doing that, you're taking away from actually being able to develop and find the person that, you know what I mean? And I think that's why for me, I don't even like that interview process, because I feel like it's just like, oh my God, here we go again. You know what I mean? But I agree with certain things that Louis said, and there were certain things that I was just like, no, I don't. I'm not. I'm like,
so Nadi, let me ask you this, Nadi. Do you not agree because it's not your comfort zone, or because you don't agree with the principle?
The specific principle of what?
Of dating multiple person at the same time.
I don't think that it's not that I don't agree with it. And I wouldn't say I'm 100% comfortable with it. I've done it. I think for me, women are more emotionally invested people, right? So if I'm going to get to know someone on a level, it is like, I want to know what your thoughts are, what your beliefs are, what you're doing. If you have goals, like I'm not going to be getting caught up with your potential. I want to know what is it you're doing in life. And I think for me, the type of analytical person that I am, I really want to know a lot about you. And if you're a person that like I have to give this time and attention to, and you're not necessarily like, I just, it's like, no. And I think that's why I'm quick to be like, okay, I can see that you clearly don't have it together. You don't know what you're doing. So boom, I move on. But I feel like that to me,
I think Jaynaba has something to say about that. Like, yeah. I think like you're already going too deep in the dating phase. You see, like, Jaynaba, give us some tool. Exactly. Like the dating phase, Nadi, it feels like you are too invested already.
Yeah, for me, it's like you're investing too much in the dating phase. Like, it's like having a drink. I don't know, like discussing with a person, really like chit chat. And small chit chat gets you a load of information on what exactly you want to do. You don't have to be invested emotionally already, So, and I think that's where also there's an issue, because when you start already investing emotionally into a relationship without really knowing the person, then you are so deeply into that person and you don't realize that you don't have the same core values. And at the end you say, oh no, it's too late. And then no, it doesn't work. And you already invested and said, oh yeah, but I can live with it. But at the end of the day, you can't live with it, because that's not what you're looking for. So
I think like, well, I think that like dating and friendship, I mean, I'm more of, I'd rather be your friend, because that's how I'm going to know more about you. Because if I just go on, I'm not going to know anything from going on a date with you and we have a conversation and I'm like, oh, like, you know what I mean? If I organically get to know you through an environment where we do the same thing, okay, I can see that this is not going to go that way. It ain't going to go that way. But I feel like I just, I think it's just not my thing.
I disagree with that, because then you're putting him in the friend zone and it's going to be hard to recover from that friend zone.
And the thing is, Nali, you have to look at it as it's a numbers game. If you do statistics with it, the likelihood of you meeting the right person is going to be found in a greater number. So it's a numbers game. You got to get through them quickly. Get through them. It's a numbers game. You gotta date multiple people.
I gotta get on the next train.
I mean, you just have to get through the numbers, because it's numbers. You'll find the one. But if you're just doing one here, one there, 2-3 years are gonna go by and you're in the same status. You don't want that. It's a numbers game. Think of it as statistics.
I'm taking notes here, because apparently I'm doing something wrong, is that I'm too invested at the beginning phase. So I have to go with the philosophy that next is nice. You don't fit, next. It's a numbers game, Nali. We need to rewrite our books. Okay?
That's it. It's like,
and apparently all the men here agree with that.
It's like companies. Okay? A company would take like 1,000 people. Yeah, a company would take like 1,000 people to get 10 superstars. That's it.
I think that's a mistake right there. The mistake that we're making, we've been looking for the solution. This is the solution.
You put that money in another company. It's like the
stock market. We don't use the numbers game.
They used to quoting. So you're quoting.
That's it.
It's like quoting.
Yeah, we're doing this one, Maddie. We have to revise our strategy about this. So, ladies, if you are watching this, it is a numbers game.
Clearly.
I'm gonna go with just Dominique on this.
I'm gonna
Next
start running
is not.
regression theory.
Okay. So we agree. Wilfred agree. Dondis, do you agree with that?
Uh, maybe partially. Maybe like on the philosophy side. I just say there should be some balance because you don't want this to turn into like a task or a duty where you're just like, there's no joy in this, man. I got this,
Right.
man. Let me look at my list. All right, I got 30 days. Let me do some push-ups and let me get out the door. You know. So yeah, there's a balance. I mean, so like philosophy, I believe in the philosophy. You need to not invest a lot of time with someone that you already see it's not going to work. Cut it, get it moving on. But you know, at the same time, this is not like a renegade situation where you're just running through people. You know. So yeah, balance. That's what I would say.
I got the plug. Sisters, I got the plug. If you need, I got the plug. And that technique, okay, actually, I can tell you the person. She's a Christian lady too. And you can go follow her. Her name is Torah Sense. She's giving a lot of advice on relationship, single woman in a situation where they're 40, 35, they're looking for a husband, they can't find a husband because of all the multiple things that I've shared in this beginning. But I'm gonna put it, and I'm gonna share that with you in the comment section. But she give a lot of nuggets, and she's actually helping a lot of single women find a husband, Christian women find a husband. So she really tackled the issues that we have in our community, and she really brings it out, and she's really helping a lot of women, not only one, multiple women. So I'm gonna put her name in the comment section.
Yes, plug it in.
Sure. Go check it out.
So, Nali, are you done?
I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. So, just like that, for me, there were a few things that I want to talk about. Just like, first of all, you talked about the fact that Kalita talked about it. She said that maybe sometimes men are scared, and I experienced it as well when I was single because I was almost 30. I had my career on track, and I was living on my own. So mainly the most of the guy I was dating were like either impressed, and so it was very complicated for me to date them, or I had the guys that were all very successful and were like they were only dating, so they had like they were players basically. So most of the black guys I was dating it was that kind of profile that I had. Either they were like players or they were too scared just like to be with me. So when you were talking about the criteria that I had, like when I was looking for my husband, I know it should be different for each person because, as I told you earlier, each of us has different criteria and core values. So for me, I want someone that was self-confident and also someone that I could rely on. So it was very, very important. So my husband is someone who is very confident, and whenever I have a question, also he's my go-to person. Whatever happens to me, I know that I can rely on him as well. Because as a strong woman, I also needed someone who was there for me when I needed it. It was very important, even though I want him also to let me be independent, because I'm very independent and very opinionated. So, and I want someone who was able to handle all those things with me. That was very important. And someone I could laugh with a lot. That was very important as well. So apart from that, I didn't want to have any other criteria really. And I was like, when I met him, he was really looking. He was very, I would say, laid back, and he was like happy with the women I wanted to be. Like I was allowed to do whatever really I fancied, and that was very important for me. So, and I didn't want someone to change me, and he was taking me exactly the way I was. And I know that was something very, really important for me, because most of the black guys also I dated, they want me to be customized just the way they expected their woman to be. So they were happy to have like this independent, opinionated, fun, and with a very nice career women around them, but they didn't want it to be like the same at home. So outside they were like, oh, look at my wife, she did that and that and that. However, at home they wanted to be like very silent, and I didn't want that at home. So, and I think that also we have to be, I don't know, maybe it's more an African thing, because I've dated a lot of African guys. So maybe it's different from the Black American community. So, but into our society, African one, I think that's something that is bad. And that we have to raise our boys not to be like that. So a woman should also stand for herself, and they should accept the way she is, not trying to make her different.
That's why the life jog exists. So now, if you know any young boy, just send him to the life jog, because my goal is to transform every young Black African to love the Black woman 100%, to be fathers, to be providers, to be everything that they need to be for the Black community. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I gotta go eat and take care of the 3 kids. I will see you.
Bon appétit, brother.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Next time I'm coming with more spice.
Thank you for bringing the spice.
Thank you.
So today was just a mild spice. Today was mild spice. Okay.
That was mild today. God bless you guys. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. So Dominique, what is your conclusion? I mean, the beginning of a solution.
Right. So I think the solution is challenging your perspective. We learned a lot. We heard a lot of perspectives today. And so perhaps challenging your perspective, kind of doing an introspection and saying, okay, what could I do to increase my visibility, to increase my chances, and kind of start looking at it statistically. Am I doing, of course, we trust the Lord. Of course, God is able to bring the Amazon guy to your door. I believe that. But I also believe that you also should position yourself like Esther did, right? And so in your positioning yourself, what can you do? I love going out to dinner by myself. I love going out to eat with my friends. I love, if I go by myself, I sit at the bar. So I do things that, position myself to be spoken to and to kind of have a wider net of opportunities and of just meeting people, because one person can lead to another person, can lead to another person. So I think that the solution, in my perspective, is just to really look at it as statistically and giving yourself the best chance to change, to shift your position in 2021.
Wow. Okay. We definitely took note of that. It's a number thing. That'll be my take for tonight. It is a number thing. Don't be too invested in the dating phase. Get through the numbers quickly. Next. We're afraid.
Yeah. From my opinion, for my conclusion, I would say for my sisters here, or my sister on the chat, or everyone for my sister, I would say, first of all, be yourself. Know more about yourself. Love yourself first. Take time. Don't take too much time, because it's tick-tock, 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 the time is going. Take time to know yourself, and take time to know people in front of you. Make sure it's fit with your expectation. Make sure it fit with your goals. The things we spoke earlier, it was about the beliefs. The belief is part of things we have to consider in our criteria. This is more thing we have to consider in our criteria. This is the things. But also, I would say be open-minded, because relationship is not about it's not about the color of skin. It's not about we have to be interracial because it's about love. We are talking about love. When we're talking about love, we have to be open mind. We have to open our mind to get free to meet someone, and even if it's black or white or Korean or Chinese or whatever, it's about love. Love is nothing to do with color or skin. It's nothing to do with community. The love is entire world. You can meet someone everywhere, and you can meet everyone, right? And for my brother, I would say, don't be afraid about the high career of the woman, because sometimes this is the things, because this is another conversation, because sometimes the men get worried about the woman who has the skills, who has the high skills, who has something like a career, or who has the income, the high income or something like that. We don't have to be afraid about it, because we are talking about love. Love is something else. Love is like it's a full-time job. We know that, but we have to challenging ourselves. We can do both. We can do anything at the same time. This is I would say this is how God raised us. God raised us with the discernment. Discernment means you have a choice. You can make a choice, but you also have challenging your own life. When you're challenging, and the relationship is a part of your own life. The single part is part of your own life as well. But you have to challenging yourself. Yeah. Don't stay too much on a single part, but challenge yourself. Go meet people, go dating people, meet someone, talk to someone, get to know some friend or some people, get to know somebody, but make sure your criteria is not too much. You have to get back on it, because sometimes the woman get the criteria, or sometimes the man get the high criteria, and it just block to move forward. That's the point. We have to be careful on it, because sometimes you put too much criteria on the table, you bring too much criteria on the table, and then it's going to just block you when you're going to meet someone or when you're going to date someone. You have to be careful on that. You have to be review your criteria, just make sure. It's not about, oh, I didn't put my makeup on it, I didn't get my outfit just to get dating someone, but it's something like you have to make sure your criteria is it's not about to get a simple criteria, but you have to make sure you are confident with your criteria, and make sure your criteria can meet someone in front of you. That's the point. And also the thing is, the life is challenging. The life is difficult right now, actually right now, and we have the society pressure, especially in our community, in our Black community, because our family will say, you're going to reach 40 or you're going to reach 30 years old. You have to be married. You have to be do something. You have to raise a kid. Even if you ain't got married, you have to raise a kid. You have to put a kid on the table. That's things. That's challenging for ourselves, for our community. We have to think about it. But the important thing is you have to think yourself. And when you are dating someone, and when you get to know someone, when you are talk to someone, you think it can be fit with your expectation. Make sure this person, even if one man or woman, this person can be will be the best version of yourself in your team, because your team is a vice versa. We're gonna mix our strategy just to get winner. That's the point. That's my conclusion. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Wilfred. Thank you so much. Nali?
I think my takeaway from, and this has been very, very riveting discussion and listening to other points of view. What this does is solidifies this journey I've been on of coming out of the comfort zone. So I think this is more of because of course I'm a numbers person, but I never really necessarily apply numbers in relational situations. So now it's kind of like, okay, looking at things from a different perspective, shifting the mindset. We talked about this a little bit earlier about being single for so long that you have like tunnel vision type of view and you're working in silos. So now it's kind of a thing where, coming out of the comfort zone means some of the points that were mentioned today. Looking at positioning yourself like Dominique was saying, or being, open to other things and other areas and such like that. So I think, which for me all wraps up under coming out of our preconceived comfort zones that we have made and gotten accustomed to and society has put us in and that kind of thing. So I think it's a consistent learning and growing process, which I agree. And I kind of agree as well with some of the things that Wilfred said, but yeah, I think it's stepping out of the zone. This is definitely what this process is looking like. So learning some things, taking some notes, and we shall see.
So that is your take, but what is your conclusion when it comes to singleness or beginning of a solution, either based on your experience or based on what you will recommend?
Well, I think for me that is a solution. I mean, it is my take, but it's also, you have to come to the point where you know yourself and when you're doing behavior that's keeping you from moving on, that's keeping you from growing, that's keeping you. Now, could it be being in the comfort zone? Could it be having set standards? I think for me, that is a solution. There's a lot of introspection that's needed in that sense. Maybe it means pushing yourself to do something. The next step would be a solution would be doing something that is out of the norm for you in order to, better yourself. I mean, there's definitely a process that you have to take, but I think for me, I would see that as a potential solution as well. It just takes steps. How fast it goes depends on the person, but.
I see. Thank you, Nani. Dondi, do you have a word of the end before we close?
Yeah, I'll say three things. Don't settle, stay open, stay active. Don't settle means don't give up what's important to you. Don't give up what's important. Stay open. Be aware of the fact that there may be good things out there for you that you haven't yet considered. And stay active. Do your thing. Do your thing. Be proactive and let the game come to you. That's what I would say.
Wow, this was definitely a very interesting conversation. Started very low key, and then it got spicy. I love it. I love the fact that we are having this conversation. I love your engagement for each and every one of you. To come and share your views. It seems very fun, but I think what we're trying to do here is raise a generation that is like aware of the challenges that might be happening in society, and that actually is seeking a solution to create a better world for tomorrow. So we hope that through this conversation that you have had laughter, but that you are also leaving this conversation with pieces and beginning of solution eventually, if you are in this case, or at least share with friends who are in this case and who are looking for solutions. There is no one way or one solution. There are pieces of solution, as many solutions as there are people in the world. So I think, but one of the things that we're gonna all remember tonight is that first, next is nice, right, Dominique? That you have to be open to, don't the checklist is not always what happens. And then you cannot always wait on the Lord, that you have to get actually to work, that, you have to get through the numbers, and that don't get too invested in the dating phase. We're going to have other conversation when it comes to relationship, right? So we just wanted to kick off our first season of Let's Talk About It with a subject that everybody could relate to. We talked a little bit about being single on different angles. We're going to talk about, raising children in this show. We're going to talk about economy, finance, culture, what is love? And I think our next conversation, I'm not really sure. I have to check, but like, just stay tuned, okay? So because in the whole month of February, we're starting a whole series on relationships. So we're gonna talk about marriage. We're gonna talk about divorce. We're gonna talk about what love is. We're gonna talk about finding the right one. How do you know who is the right one? We're gonna talk about you know, do you keep your ex just for sex? I mean, we're gonna talk about real subjects. We're not gonna be shy. We're not gonna shy away for the conversation because I think all those things being, that are taboo is what is causing our society to live with, deficiencies in different areas because we never address the issues. We just, walk around it or pretend to talk about it. So this is why we're here. This is why we have this conversation. We want to challenge your perspective and hopefully change your word so that you can also change the world. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being part of the panel and for and being engaged by myself for this kind of conversation because having one perspective is different from having like this wealth of perspective and thoughts and answers. So thank you all, and let's see you in 2 weeks for the next conversation. If you have not yet subscribe, like, share this conversation, and we will see you in 2 weeks. For my French folks or my bilingual folks, I will see you next week for the French session because we do French. We're gonna figure it out all together. In between, also have what we were doing before with our chosen moments. So next week on Thursdays, moments on Thursdays, and we have the Let's Talk About It on Fridays. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. Thank you. In the comments, you guys were amazing. It was great having you. We hope the next time you join us on the panel so we can have live conversation with you guys. Thank you, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Thank
Au
you.
revoir.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye bye. Stay tuned.